It's a melodious time to be a creative. Hi everyone, I'm Laurie Fagen, and welcome to AZ Creates, a web series about the many very creative people right here in the great state of Arizona. After a long year of the COVID pandemic, we're hearing music again, both literally and figuratively. The colors are a little brighter, and our hearts are just a little bit lighter with each day that passes as we get to some kind of new normalcy. We have a musical guest on today's show as well. In our Creative Connections segment, jazz singer and entertainer Jan Sandwich will be along to chat about her career and how she brings smiles to adults and children alike. We will feature the Nash Jazz Club, where Jan has also performed. We'll have a variety of arts events for you from all around the state in Something to Look Forward to. And then in What Are You Reading, we'll talk to writer Howard Gershkowitz of Chandler, who has penned poems, short stories, and has a second fiction novel coming out. Then we'll close with a musical quote from musician Bono of U2. That's all on today's episode. Stay with us. AZ Creates is sponsored by Sibley's West, the Chandler and Arizona gift shop in historic downtown Chandler. A strong supporter of Arizona creatives, Sibley's West features work from more than 200 artists specializing in Arizona items and souvenirs, including art, pottery, food, jewelry, and much more. Now open at 72 South San Marcos Place in Chandler, online shopping is also available with convenient and safe curbside pickup. Visit www.sibleyswest.com for details. Welcome back to AZ Creates. Our Creative Connections segment guest today has been a professional entertainer her entire life. Jan Sandwich has acted in movies, TV shows, live theater. Her voice has been on hundreds of television and radio commercials. She's done stand-up comedy. She's entertained thousands of children, yet her real love is singing. Welcome to AZ Creates today, Jan.
Thank you, Laurie. I am so pleased to be on this show. It's very much needed, and I love the way you feature artists.
Thank you so much. We've been having a great time with the show as well. So, talk about creative, Jen. You have been in so many different forms of entertainment. Let's go back maybe just a few short years and tell us a little bit about how you got into the biz in the first place.
Well, I grew up on a farm in Iowa, and I know you're from Iowa too. And my parents, they had a dance band, and so they asked me to try singing with their band, and I did, and it worked out. So I sang with them starting in 8th grade all through my college years. So after I left home, I moved to Phoenix, Arizona, because I had a brother here with my husband, Brian. And when we got to Phoenix, for a while there, we were very worried about our money. We were getting down to just pennies. And then I landed a 6-nighter, 6 nights a week, singing at the Wigwam Resort in Lidgefield Park with Angelo Valente and his band. That was a wonderful experience. And after we did a season there, then that summer we played at Joe Hunt's in Scottsdale. Then I heard about the Windmill Dinner Theater in North Scottsdale, where celebrities came to star in plays, and they had the group called the Barnstormers, who were the pre-show. So I auditioned 3 times, and I had to lose 20 pounds to finally get into that group, but I made it. It was worth it. I met so many wonderful celebrities. And then I moved to California, and I got to sing with Bill Davies' 1939 orchestra. We did nothing but the Glenn Miller book. And I got to go to Catalina Island and sing in the Avalon Ballroom there with them, and got to sing at the Coconut Grove. Then I came back to Phoenix, started my own band called Jan Roberts Band. I used my maiden name because the salesman at the agency didn't think anyone would take Jan Sandwich Band seriously. But they did when I changed it to Jan Sandwich. And we did that together for 15 years, Brian and I and the other guys. And I've been singing ever since.
So I know you have performed everything from duos to having a 22-piece orchestra behind you, but then theater came along. So what is it about live theater that you enjoy?
I love having the live audience because I love the interchange, hearing their laughter, feeling the feelings they're feeling. And as you know from doing theater, it's a circle between the actor on stage and the audience. So that's what I love about it.
Now, Jen, you've also been acting in television, radio commercials for a number of years, and I always get a kick out of seeing you on TV. One of the commercials that always sticks in my mind is the one where you and a couple of other, shall we say, more mature women are strolling along beside a swimming pool, and you've got those T-shirts on that look like they're teeny weeny bikini swimsuits. And tell us a little bit about that. You remember anything a while ago?
Well, when I auditioned for that commercial, they said, wear shorts. And I thought, oh no, because I don't feel like my legs look as good as they used to, but I had to wear shorts. And then we auditioned. And I got the job with these two other ladies, and we were all worried. We thought, oh my goodness, are they going to put us in, bikinis or swimming suits? Our wrinkles, our rolls are going to show. And then when we got to wardrobe, there were these beautiful T-shirts that covered us from the neck down almost to our knees, with cute little bikinis printed on them. And then we could relax and just have a ball. So it was great fun. That was for Gila River Casinos. You do you.
That was it. Those are just really fun spots. And they're fun to see them come back from time to time, too.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jan, you have been singing jazz specifically now for a number of years, not just in clubs and restaurants, but you've actually been creating some shows, like one we're going to hear you sing. Now, this song is from your Doris Day tribute show at Scottsdale Center for the Arts, performing Day by Day. Let's take a look, and then we'll talk about it.
Come what may, I want you to know I'm yours alone, and I'm in love to stay as we go through the years. We go through the years. We go through the years, day by day. Day by day, day by day, day by day.
Jen, tell us about that particular show and about some of the other tribute shows that you've put together.
Sure. Well, the Doris Day show that we just heard a song from is one of my favorites. When I do these tribute shows, I study the person that I am paying tribute to, study their whole life. So during one of those shows, I take the people watching through the performer's life and career and fit the shows in accordingly, the songs in accordingly. Day by Day was used because Doris Day wanted to be a dancer. Then she had a car accident, hurt her leg, and could no longer dance. So she decided to become a singer. And she sang Day by Day at her first audition that she ever went to and got the job singing with a local band. The other tribute shows I do, Laurie, are Peggy Lee and also the adorable Debbie Reynolds. It's just so much fun for me.
And they are wonderful shows. I didn't know that about Doris and her legs. Interesting information. And I always learn something new from those tribute shows, too. Now, Jan, you and I did perform together a few years ago, shall we say, at the Herberger Lunchtime Theater called Vaudeville. And I even dug up an old photo from it. Let's see, Sabrina Switzer-Waring was our director. I had this wild curly wig on. I think there was tap dancing involved. Some of the other actors were Michael Lawler, Peggy Lord Chilton, Bob Garthwaite. Anything in particular you remember about that crazy show?
I remember we had a lot of laughs and a lot of fun. And you had the big black curly wig, and my hair was already in a perm. But I remember the director, Sabrina, telling me to bend over before every show and brush all my curly hair forward. And then she would spray my hair with this, it was like cement, this hairspray, so that it just stayed like this through the whole show. And I borrowed a pair of earrings, Laurie, from another girl who was in the cast, and I can't remember her name. And I promised I'd give back those earrings, and I never got the chance. So if you're out there watching this interview today, I have your earrings.
Oh, get the earrings back to her. And I'm sorry to say I can't remember her name either. Darn. But maybe she'll be out there watching. Let's hope. Jan, you have also created some wonderful characters, some for adults, but mostly for children, including Mrs. Santa Claus, which keeps you very, very busy over the holidays, Mother Goose, Fairy Godmother, Sandy Sandwich the Clown, Daisy Bunny, Wendy the Friendly Witch, and there are several more, including Cowgirl Jan, which you're now doing for a summer project. How did you get characters? And tell us a little bit about the summer shows that are coming up.
Well, I started doing characters because when I was working with my band for an agency, they got a call for a Mrs. Claus. And I said, I could do Mrs. Claus. So I put the costume together and the character, and been doing Mrs. Claus ever since. As far as doing summer reading programs, I got started doing that in the early 90s, I believe it was. They had a showcase for people who wanted to come and audition. So I went and I did my Mother Goose show for them. And I've been working with the libraries every summer ever since then.
And it's a great way to add a little income during the summertime and when some of the gigs aren't maybe quite as plentiful either. So that's a brilliant way to go. Now, you also perform for adults, I believe, but this is a character that some of our viewers may remember from the Rowan and Martin Laugh-In show. But when I was researching it, for some reason I had it in my head that it was Joanne Worley who did it, but it was actually a woman named Ruth Buzzy. Tell us about that character and do just a little bit of her, if you would.
Sure. Yes, it was Ruth Buzzy. On the show, on the TV show, she was the character that sat on the park bench with a little old man, and he would ask her if she wanted a walnutto, and then she'd beat him with her purse. That was her big bit. So I'll do a little bit of my Ruth Buzzy. I would usually have my hairnet on. Okay, here we go. Hi, Laurie. You know, I've never had a man. I've always wanted a man. And I told my girlfriend, Bernice, I wish I had a boyfriend. And she said, oh, Ruthie, you don't need a boyfriend because let me tell you, men are like parking spaces. All the good ones are taken and the rest are handicapped.
That is great. Oh, that is fun.
Right,
and your whole facial expression, everything, voice and everything. And I know, and people can see some of these characters on your website too. You have videos on there as well. You just become that character, which is just so fun. So this past year has been very challenging for everybody during the pandemic. How have your husband and you been faring, and what's coming up for you here in this next year?
Well, during the pandemic, of course, all the summer shows that I had planned last year, I was afraid would fall by the wayside. But my dear husband, Brian Sandwich, helped me. We invested in a good camera, a good mic, some lighting, and he started recording my shows. And then I was able to sell those shows to the libraries as usual for them to use on their websites, Facebook. And I also was so fortunate that I was asked by the state to put together a special show as Sarah the Suffragette for the 100th anniversary of the women's movement. And they also allowed me to record those programs. And I was able to make the money that I had originally planned on getting if I would have had to travel around the state and do it. Musically, I got to record a couple of concerts, one for Scottsdale Arts last November, and just recently one for Tempe Center for the Arts. So that was good. As far as next year, I've already booked a little over a half a dozen Mrs. Claus jobs. Most of those are booked for live performance, so I hope that is the case. And this summer, I will be doing recordings again of my library shows. And so I'll be using those. I'll be doing some Zoom sessions for libraries and summer schools. And two things I'm excited about, Laurie. In November 13th, I believe, I'm going back to Scottsdale Center for the Arts to do my show with Trio 380, and it's called Salute to Ladies of Song. And the end of July, I'm going to Colorado, little free vacation, and I will be performing my show as Ruth Buzzy at Vallecito Resort. So that'll be something fun.
Wonderful. So a whole Ruth Buzzy show too, huh? That will be great. Normally, you manage to kind of slide this in during your performances. Tell us your little catchphrase that you often use in you and your name.
Well, usually I will say, if I'm introducing myself, I'll say, I'm Jan Sandwich, just like ham on rye. And I married a sandwich, and he's full of baloney. So any way you slice it, folks, I hope you enjoyed the show.
Oh, that is so cute.
Thank you.
Thank goodness for Brian. He's not full of baloney. He is just a trooper, and oh my gosh, doing so much for you too. Now you can see photos and video of Jan's characters for children and adults on her entertainment website at jansandwich.com. And then there are more videos of her singing at jansandwichjazz.com. Thank you so much, Jan, for all the joy that you have brought to so many people and for sharing with us today.
Thank you, Laurie. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Don't go away. Our featured nonprofit arts organization and upcoming arts events are next. AZ Creates is sponsored by the Times Media Group, a digital and print media company that operates in the Phoenix and Tucson metro markets. It serves a wide variety of demographic audiences and communities with more than 1.1 million printed copies and millions of online readers each month. Publications include the Santan Sun News, Chandler Arizonan, Gilbert Sun News, Mesa Tribune, Scottsdale Progress, and many more. For details, visit Times Publications at timespublications.com. We have a lot of great arts events for you coming up, but first, AZ Creates highlights the Nash Jazz Club for jazz therapy, jazz education, and just great jazz music. The Nash opened in 2012 and is named for Louis Nash, who was born and raised in Phoenix and who is now an internationally renowned drummer who frequently performs at the Nash. The Nash hopes to get back to pre-pandemic events, including weekly jam sessions, clinics taught by top educators, big band performances, new and mainstream jazz concerts, First Friday art walks with live jazz, special performances by local and visiting musicians, and a variety of other jazz happenings. The Nash is also the home of Jazz in Arizona, a nonprofit founded in 1977 to encourage and support the performance and appreciation of the great original American art form of jazz. For details, visit thenash.org. From music to theater to visual arts, we have it all covered for you in arts events from around the state, both in-line and in person. Here's Cathy Beard with all the details.
Thanks, Laurie. More venues are opening up to the public this spring, and Arizona's talented artists, performers, and musicians are giving you plenty to choose from. Whether it's a concert, gallery, art show, or theatrical performance, lend your support by attending one or more of these great events. Support Arizona's talented performers through the Actors Youth Theater as they perform the Disney musical Freaky Friday. There are 5 special and unique shows between April 22nd to May 1st with different cast members. Tickets are $20 in advance or $22 at the box office. For tickets, dates, and showtimes, visit aytaz.org and click on the Tickets tab. Relax at home with some great jazz as you stream these concerts with the Nash. Through the Outdoors in the Garden series, the Brett Reed Quartet on Friday, April 23rd at 7:30 p.m. Or enjoy Blaze Lantana on Sunday, April 25th at 3 p.m. And if you missed the first 2, listen to the Max Beckman Quartet on Friday, April 30th at 7:30 p.m. All streaming shows are $20, or attend in person at the Arizona Jewish Historical Society venue, number 122, for $39. For more information and ticket purchase, visit thenash.org. The Gaslight Theater in Tucson has a lot going on through their Porch Concert Series. On Monday, April 26 at 7 p.m., enjoy blues and R&B, plus some Texas swing, Motown, and pop with the George Howard Band. Or for a rollicking high seas musical romp, check out the Gaslight's first outdoor musical melodrama, Buccaneers of the Caribbean, or better known as Don't Touch Me Booty, happening now through June 6th. Table seating is socially distanced for safety. To learn more and purchase tickets, go to thegaslighttheater.com. Do you love making handmade art, clothing, or crafts? Need a venue to sell it at as well? Then look no further than Hello Handmade Market. Whether you're just a beginner or a professional, you can participate in their events as long as your work is handmade. Their next event is on Saturday, April 24th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Arrowhead Town Center in Glendale. But there will be many more coming this fall. So get busy, get your items ready, and sign up with hellohandmademarket.myshopify.com. Discover and connect with local Arizona musicians, artists, and poets as they perform live and online through the Tempe Center for the Arts Shift series. Join every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. to enjoy their weekly shows. Coming April 28, tune in for Joe Willie Smith Improvisations as he creates sonic sculptures in his unique performance. For more information, visit TempeCenterForTheArts.com or sign up on Facebook for their weekly event notifications. An exhibition showcasing reproductions of the complete series of Utagawa Hiroshige's The 53 Stations of the Tokaido will be on view at the Yume Japanese Gardens now through May. This series is a timeless masterpiece of vibrant scenes representing a noble feudal lord's lifestyle, realistic images of ordinary people's daily life, and seasonal landscapes in woodblock print. And take time for a moment of zen by touring the various gardens too. For more information and admission fees, visit umegardens.org. The American West has a colorful history steeped in romance and ruggedness. Western Celebration at the Desert Artisans Gallery in Tucson honors the West's raw, natural beauty and unique wildlife, as well as its diverse cultures. The exhibit features local works in painting, sculpture, and jewelry. Open now through May 8th. To learn more about the show and the artists at the gallery, visit desertartisansgallery.com. Join 7-time Grammy nominee Will Clipman for an evening at the intersection of world music, storytelling, and multicultural mask art at the Musical Instrument Museum, Friday, April 30th at 7 p.m. Klipman performs on a global palette of indigenous instruments and interwoven with spellbinding tales, punctuated by his original mask art. For tickets, visit MIM.org. Spend a classical afternoon with the Scottsdale Philharmonic as they open their 2021 season on Sunday, May 2nd at 4 p.m. at the Scottsdale Center for the Performing Arts in the Virginia G. Piper Theater. The concert program features Albinoni's Adagio in G minor, Britten's The Simple Symphony Opus 4, Barber's Adagio for strings, and Mozart's Ein klein Nachtmusik. For more information and tickets, visit scottsdalephilharmonic.com. Bringing Broadway's favorites back to life. Spend a delightful musical evening with the music of Andrew Lloyd Webber at the Scottsdale Musical Theater Company. From May 8th through June 19, enjoy the music from Evita, Phantom of the Opera, Jesus Christ Superstar, Cats, and many more. Tickets are $25. For show dates and ticket purchase, visit scottsdalemusicaltheater.com. Ettore Ted DeGrazia was a highly celebrated Tucson, Arizona artist, and through the DeGrazia Gallery in the Sun Museum, you can celebrate his work with 2 exhibitions, now through September 1st. Tempera Paintings of Ted DeGrazia focuses on this ancient technique in 1959 to 1960. Celestial Music displays DeGrazia's musical angels playing horns, violins, harps, banjos, and record players. To learn more about these and other exhibits at the museum, visit degrazia.org. Are you good at solving a murder mystery? Why not be part of one? The Sheraton Phoenix Airport Hotel in Tempe is hosting a wild, hilarious, and interactive performance dinner with audience participation at the Dinner Detective Show, now through July. This is an experience like no other, with a 4-course plated dinner. Anyone in the room can end up being part of the show, which could be you. For reservations, go to thedinnerdetective.com. Drawn from the ASU Art Museum's permanent collection, feast your eyes on dinnerware, Friday through Sunday, now through October 9. The objects featured in dinnerware reference communal and symbolic associations with coming together for meals. Featured artists include Pleiades, Eddie Dominguez, Marin Lysohir, Russell Wright, Isaac Scott, Justin Rothshank, and the Democratic Cup Project. For more details and free timed entry tickets, go to asuevents.asu.edu. Whether it's online or in person, be sure to check the event's websites for any possible cancellations or rescheduling. Do you know of any other creative events that we can share to our viewers at AZ Creates? Then send us an email at azcreates.artonlineaz@gmail.com. And also lend your support to AZ Creates by giving us a like, a share, and a subscribe to our channel, which is something we'll look forward to. See you next time.
Thanks, Cathy. It's great to see the arts rebounding in Arizona. On What Are You Reading? Our guest is Howard Gershkowitz of Chandler. He has written in a variety of genres, including poetry, short stories, and he has a brand new fiction novel coming out. Welcome to AZ Creates, Howard.
Well, thank you, Laurie. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to chat with you today.
I'm glad we could. Thank you. Now, you've had a couple of dozen of your poems accepted on a variety of online and print magazines and collections. You have a dozen short stories published, and you say that your goal is to write and publish poetry and fiction that points out human folly through friction. Explain what that means a bit and tell us a little bit about your writing journey.
Okay. Well, I've been a reader all of my life, and I love books. I love poetry where you expose human frailties. And I think we all learn from each other, from the mistakes that we all make. Oops.
Oh,
Think about that.
tell you what, why don't you start it again from the top, okay?
Okay. I've always been a reader my whole life, books, poetry, short stories. And I love the fact that most of them expose human frailties. And I think that's what most people want to know. Is everybody else like me? So I've kept a journal for most of my life. I've written poetry, short stories, even nonfiction inside of that journal. But about 10 years ago, I decided, you know what, I want to join the core of those who actually write and publish. So I started taking some classes at the local college level, starting with some of the community colleges and ultimately working through Piper Center at the ASU Creative Center. That journey allowed me to expose my work to a variety of genres. I started with poetry, and that was really my intention. But I started writing some fiction, got some accolades from there, and that led me to start writing a couple of novels. And that's where I am now.
That's terrific. And your debut novel, called The Operator, is set in Prescott, Arizona. Tell us a little bit about how you came up with that story.
Okay, well, my wife and I love Prescott, and we love to stay at the Hacienda Inn up there. It's built in the 1920s, and we just love old historic hotels. We love the antique stores that are up there. In fact, recently I was up there and I bought an antique typewriter for my writing studio. I don't have it here because it's being repaired, so it's going to be functional. But in the lobby of that hotel, I was sitting there one day, and I was sitting next to this, which is a 1920s switchboard. And I was sitting there wondering what would happen if I could see someone actually working the switchboard, using the wires and so forth, and answering phones. My wife came down to join me for breakfast, and I said, well, what if I could see the person sitting there, but she couldn't? The Hacienda Inn is rumored to be haunted. So this actually started out as a ghost story. But realizing how old the hotel was, and this particular switchboard dated back to the 1920s, and I'm a stockbroker by profession, I said, what if I could go back and meet the operator, and we could together try and stop the Great Depression from happening? And that's how the book came about.
That's a great story. And the Hacienda is a beautiful old hotel with that big old person-operated elevator as well. And but you will see that switchboard sitting there too. So your stockbroker world came into not only your first story, but there's an economic issue, if you will, going on in the new book that you have coming out, going to launch this year, called Not on My Watch. Tell us about this book.
Okay, well, I love to take, as you can tell, my stories from what I observe and what I read about and what I experience. Well, a couple of years ago, I read a story about a hospital in New Jersey that was indicted on Medicare fraud. And it was kind of an interesting article because it turns out that this hospital, and I found out later, it's not an uncommon practice, had learned how to manipulate the Medicare procedures, and they discovered that heart stents was one of the more lucrative procedures. And so people who came to that hospital who were on Medicare, interestingly enough, had a high percentage recommended to put heart stents in. And so I decided I was going to write a story to expose that. And I used a local hospital, which happens to be privately owned, that is going to be targeted by one of these large medical corporations in the intent of turning it into a Medicare mill. And I made a nurse, my heroine, who, along with her stockbroker boyfriend, is going to stop the big bad hospital corporation from coming in and doing bad.
Oh, that sounds very interesting. So we would love it if you would read a short segment from Not on My Watch.
Well, this is from chapter 1, and this is where our nurse, Donna, meets Stephen for the first time in the novel. Chapter 1. Travel walked in, wearing high heels and attitude. Shoulder-length brown hair framed her smooth, high cheekbones. Stopping well shy of the register, she scanned the tables as if looking for someone to buy her a drink. When her eyes met mine, they lingered a second too long. A half smile creased her lips, disappearing so quickly I was unsure I saw it at all. Strolling casually to the magazine rack, she picked up a Vogue and began browsing. I sipped my coffee and tried refocusing on the journal article in front of me, but there'd been something unsettling in her glance. Was I supposed to respond? Offer to wait in line so she wouldn't have to? If this were a bar with its clear, unspoken rules, the choice would be easy. I was unaware of such protocols at Starbucks, however, especially ones located inside a bookstore on a rainy September afternoon.
And you know how they say that first sentences are so critical? Love your first sentence, the high heels and attitude. Walking in.
Hey, thank you. It took me a long time to come up with that.
That's great. That's great. Okay, so how about a couple of lightning round questions here?
Okay.
First of all, what is the best time for you to write?
Well, I'm a morning person, so I get up very early, and I happen to go to the park nearby, which has a nice lake. I like to be there when the sun rises, and that's my best time for writing. That's when I'm most creative.
Very good. Now, what advice might you have for aspiring writers?
Okay. Well, a couple of things that I could think of right off. First of all, take classes if you can, workshops, join critique groups, join with fellow authors to learn from them. But the most important thing I can offer is exactly what I just said a moment ago. Get up every single day, whether it's in the morning, the afternoon, or whatever is best for you. Make sure you get your tush in a chair and the pen in your hand and start writing.
Very good advice. Absolutely. Now, when I first met you, I knew you as Howard Russell, which is your middle name. But tell us a little bit how you started with the pseudonym and then how you decided to go with your full name, Howard Russell Gershkowitz.
Well, initially, my folks gave all of us a middle name that we could use if we wanted to drop Gershkowitz, because it is a little bit longer, a little bit harder to pronounce, and I get all sorts of variations on that. So initially, I thought I wanted something easier and simpler to use. However, when I got to publishing The Operator, my publisher said, "You know what, Howard? You've been around for X number of years, and everybody knows you as Howard Russell Gershkowitz. Why would you want to change your name now?" And so with that in mind, I went back to Gershkowitz, and I'm very glad that I did.
Very good. It works, and it's not that hard to say either. So you can find Howard Gershkowitz on his website at gershwriter.com, GERSH writer.com, and on Facebook you will find him as Howard Russell. Thanks so much for being with us today, Howard, and best of luck on your writing and on your new book coming out.
Well, thank you very much, and appreciate the opportunity to talk with you today.
Absolutely. Thank you. Join us again next time when we'll connect you with Chandler polymer clay artist Asi Panutsopoulou, and we'll talk to former journalist and longtime mystery writer Betty Webb. We'll highlight 2 polymer clay guilds in Arizona and have plenty of arts events for you. That's episode 15 of AZ Creates. Music is such an important part of the arts and of our lives. Irish singer-songwriter Bono, the lead vocalist and lyricist of U2, says, "Music can change the world because it can change people." Thanks for watching and meeting our creatives. Please subscribe to the channel and click the bell to be notified of new shows and new content, and share this with other people who appreciate the arts. We also promote fine art and fine artists on our Instagram and Facebook social media pages at Art Online AZ, where we also promote a lot of other arts events as well. We hope you have music in your life, so please stay safe and healthy and make it a creative day.